Someone has died. The family is gathered. The priest has come and gone. The body is laid out, ready for burial. But there is one thing left to do. A man appears at the door. Nobody invited him, but everyone knew he was coming. Nobody makes eye contact. Nobody speaks to him directly. Nobody says thank you. He sits down in front of the body. A piece of bread is placed on the dead man's chest. A pinch of salt. A bowl of beer. He eats. He drinks. And in that moment, according to belief, every sin the dead man ever committed passes into him. The lies, the thefts, the cruelties, all of it. The soul is clean. The dead can rest. The sin-eater stands up, takes his sixpence, and walks out the door. Nobody watches him go. This happened in Wales and the English border counties for at least 200 years, and the man who did it paid a price that no one ever talked about. To understand the price, you first have to understand the ritual. The earliest written record comes from John Aubrey, a 17th century English antiquarian who documented old customs before they disappeared. He described what he witnessed in Herefordshire. A poor man was hired at funerals to take upon himself all the sins of the deceased. A loaf of bread was handed to him over the corpse, a bowl of beer, a sixpence, the equivalent of a few dollars today. That was the price of a man's soul. The ritual had rules. The sin-eater sat on a stool facing the door. Always the door, never the family. He ate in silence. When he was done, he left immediately. In some accounts, he passed through a hole cut into the door rather than the main entrance, a symbolic act to carry the sins out of the house without contaminating the living. The bread was not just bread. It had been placed on the dead body. It had absorbed what the body carried. And now the sin-eater had consumed it. Whatever he took in, he kept. So, who would agree to this? Who would sit down in front of a dead body, eat what had been placed on its chest, and walk away with sixpence? Only the desperately poor. Because you had to be hungry enough to eat bread off a corpse for sixpence. You had to be without options, without status, without anything better waiting for you. Most sin-eaters were wanderers, men with no fixed home, no community, no family ties. They drifted from village to village, appearing when someone died, disappearing afterward. Professor Evans of the Presbyterian College in Carmarthen described one he had encountered around 1825. Abhorred by the superstitious villagers as a thing unclean, the sin-eater cut himself off from all social intercourse with his fellow creatures. He lived alone in a remote place. Those who chanced to meet him avoided him as they would a leper, not because he had done anything wrong, because of what he carried. He could not enter the church. He could not be buried in the churchyard. He could not sit at a table with other men or share a drink at the tavern. People would not look him in the eye, not out of contempt exactly, but out of fear. The belief was that eye contact with a sin-eater could transfer misfortune, that something of what he carried might reach you. He was necessary. He was called upon at the worst moments of a family's life, and then he was sent away. Think about what that does to a man over time. Year after year, village after village, death after death, each time taking on more, each time walking away alone with a few coins and the weight of another person's life. He had no one to confess to, no one to absolve him. No ritual existed for the sin-eater himself. He simply accumulated. Richard Munslow died in Ratlinghope, Shropshire, in 1906. He is recorded as the last known sin-eater in England. But here's the strange part. Munslow was not poor. He was a respected farmer, a man of means, a man who had no reason to take on this role. He did it anyway. In 1870, 3 of his children died in a single week from scarlet fever. After that, something changed in him. He began performing the ritual for his neighbors, not for money, not out of desperation, out of something harder to name. He was finally given a proper ceremony in 2010, over 100 years after his death, when his grave was restored and a memorial service was held. The last sin-eater got his funeral. Better late than never. The church never approved of sin-eating. It represented something the institution could not tolerate. A human being claiming spiritual power over the dead. That was God's territory. A poor man eating bread over a corpse was, in the eyes of the church, dangerously close to heresy. And yet families kept calling for him, because the church's comfort was abstract. The sin-eater showed up. Every society has someone like him, the person who takes on what others cannot carry, who absorbs the grief, the guilt, the weight, and walks away with it so that everyone else can move forward. Different name, different ritual, same human need. The sin-eater of Wales has been gone for over a century, but the role never disappeared. It just stopped having a name. To stay with us on this mysterious voyage.